All right, this is 1.1 doing some problem sets in pre-algebra. So let's look at a few of these. And a lot of these you can pretty much do on your own, so I'm going to kind of bounce around. So let's look at something like number 24, where they give us -6 and 5. And what they're asking you to do is put a greater than or less than symbol right here between the two numbers to let me know which number is bigger than the other. So, because -6 is on the number line, it's to the left of 5, positive 5, because -6 is a number less than 0. That's why it has a negative on it. So it's to the left of 0. And positive 5 is going to be to the right of 0. Therefore, positive 5 is greater than -6. So we put a symbol like that on there. You do that for all of those problems. You get to something like 33, though, and you have -2 in an absolute value sign, and you have a -7 in an absolute value sign. And again, this is number 33. What I would suggest doing is taking the absolute value of both of those numbers first, and then put the greater than or equal to sign. So the absolute value of -2, the absolute value of any number, is itself positive. So 2, absolute value of -7 is 7. So we know that 7 is greater than 2, and we're done. So it looks like they have a few of those on there. So do the absolute value first, and then determine which one's bigger. Okay. When we get down to 35 to 50, where they're saying find each of the following absolute values, just like I told you before, whenever you have the absolute value of a negative number, the absolute value of it is positive. When you have the absolute value of a positive number, the absolute value of it is positive. So they're both going to be the same because they're both the same distance from 200, only -200 is to the left and +200 is to the right. And when you get down to 63 to 70, it gives you a bunch of negative stuff on there. So let's look real quick at some of those examples that they give us. Let's look at 63, -2. All right, whenever you have two negatives together, side by side, nothing else, two negatives always make a positive. So that just gives me a +2. When I have something like a negative absolute value of -2, we have a little bit different thing that happens here, because the absolute value, you always do the absolute values first. It saves you from being confused. So absolute value of -2 is 2, and this minus just kind of tags along, so your answer is -2. And it looks like pretty much the rest of those are okay. Let's go ahead and jump to some of the story problems on applying the concepts. We've got, let's look at number 82. At 11 in the morning in Superior, Wisconsin, Jim notices the temperature is 15 below 0. So 15 below 0 is just the same as saying 15 to the left of 0. So anything below 0 or to the left of 0 is going to be a negative. So at 11 o'clock, the temperature was -15 degrees. At noon, it is warmed up by 8 degrees. So it's 8 degrees warmer. So it's 8 degrees closer, or moved over to the right, or moved up. So if it's -15 at 11 and we go up 8 degrees, that means we add 8 degrees to that temperature. And that gives us a -7 degrees by noon. So -15, we go 8 degrees, and since it warmed up 8 degrees, that means we went +8. So when we have our number line here, and we're at -15, we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 degrees in this direction toward 0 and the positive numbers. And so remember from the lecture on the other video, I said whenever you go to the right on the number line, you're going in a positive direction. So we're going +8 and we end up at negative 7 degrees here. And then 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then we hit 0, and then we start getting into positive numbers as we go this way. So let's look at number 84. Steve is snorkeling in the ocean near his home in Maui. At one point, he is 6 feet below the surface. All right, so let's go ahead and draw the ocean, and we'll put him 6 feet under, and here he is snorkeling, and he's 6 feet below the surface. So whenever you're below, if he were at the surface, he would not be above or below the surface. He would be at 0, right? So if he's below the surface, just like on a thermometer, below 0, it's going to be a negative number. So he's 6 feet below. It says represent the situation with a negative number. Well, we just did right there. If he descends another 6 feet, so he goes down another 6 feet. So he went down another negative 6. What negative number will represent his new position? Well, now he is 12 feet down, and he's 12 feet in a negative direction. Okay? If he would have been at negative 12, and I said, well, and then he decided to come up 3 feet, that means he would have come up 3 feet. So he would have gone from negative 12 up 3, so he'd be at negative 9 at this place if we were to continue to go with this. So negative is always going down or to the left. Positive is always going to the right or up. So that is some examples from problem set 1.1.